one deal with strong negative emotions?
No.
Yeah, I think they are firstly, I think it is very, very important to develop clear sort of recognition or realization. The afflicted emotion is destructive. So, whenever they condition some of these, the negative emotion is about to come, in deep inside, you may have some kind of reluctance. That also makes differences. Then the basis of negative emotion, there are some kind of artificial reasons also there. So in these reasons, try to look from different angle. Projection. That also is make differences. And then third, anyway, you
Solins was saying that the second approach is that often when you examine the nature of emotions, often quite a lot of them are grounded on some kind of certain projections of your mind on that event or an object or a person. So based on some unfounded reasons. So by examining that, the underlying reasons for your emotion, often it is helpful to counter these emotions. And then the third approach is when the negative emotions is already a fully blown felt experience, then one of the best ways is to try to divert one's attention or focus, shift it away from kind of perception of the actual emotion onto something else, so that the intensity of the emotion is undercut. Your Holiness, why are animals considered to be a lower sentient form than humans? It seems to me that they are equal, just in a different form.
Yes, that is true. That's why we, instead of using humanity, but we always use sentient being. All are equal. We human being, or these is the worldly different deities and insects and animal, all are equal. All are sentient being. All have the same experience. Now differences because of the brain. We have more. I think we have the greater sort of ability to analyze. So from that respect, the human body we consider more precious.
Your Holiness, what kind of meditation practice would you recommend?
So I think once we realize, we have this is more sort of intelligence, so more precious, then at the same time, we should have some kind of sense of responsibility. Look after these beings rather than use.
Your Holiness, what kind of meditation practice would you recommend for a lay person who wants to follow the way of the Buddha?
Actually, there is not much differences whether it's a monk or layman. I think the basic Buddhist path is same. So study about the Four Noble Truths and the 12 links away.
12 links of dependent origination.
First study. That di gu do na la that tell na that di do imbertan some ten to jung shire. That di kan ya sam ta ne. And shine that di lung ri le de de member che. So sam ta ne that di ji re do wa sa ba ji shine 푸름 주 ya shi do wa. Din de yin sam jung shire sa le ngu ya le.
So when I say study, I do not simply mean just picking up a book and reading something and living at that level. Because, of course we can read a book and acquire information. But that is what the Buddhists would call in the Buddhist...
The basis of to think.
No, that is simply the beginning. That's the basis of thinking or contemplation or reflection. And in the Buddhist grading of levels of understanding, that is said to be the understanding based on simple hearing or listening. So that is not adequate. One has to go beyond that. And the next stage is to find a way of integrating what you have learned into your own experience, so that your understanding of the Buddhist path is not based on a kind of a textual understanding of this is said in that text, or this made that point is made in another text, but rather one can identify with these insights on the basis of one's own experience. So there is a kind of a processing of the information, and that's the level of understanding known as the understanding derived through thinking or reflection, and that is the kind of understanding we need to develop.
I do not agree. Some people may say, oh, now you just recite some mantra and not need study, this kind of thing. I don't agree with that. Whether it's a lay people or a beginner or a monk or anyone. I think if really I'm serious to practice Buddha Dharma, to go through Buddhist path, Buddhist path, and study. I say, without knowing here, how can it transform our mind? Very difficult. Just sheer faith. The effect is very limited. Very limited. So I think the proper faith or belief is must develop on the basis of fully, convincing. How to develop? Because of conviction. Through analytical meditation. Just one single pointedness sort of meditation. Not important. Of course, later it is important, but at the beginner, I don't think this is important. So analytical meditation, study, think. That's important.
Your Holiness, do you foresee any increase in catastrophic world events around the millennium?
I don't know.
Do you... the question is not complete yet. Do you recommend any specific types of preparations to take place?
I don't know. If you see there's some natural disaster, so one place, run away to other place. If whole world facing some problem, then nothing can be done. Just sit here. Then think about the next reincarnation and go some other place.
If Western physicists now posit a beginning of space-time with the Big Bang, what does that do to the Buddhist concept of beginningless time or karma theory?
Oh yes, that's quite often involve this theory. So the one Big Bang theory, if that truly prove, then Buddhists will have to think.
If the cosmological theory of Big Bang being the soul, there being only one Big Bang, and that is proven to be the real beginning of the universe, then His Holiness was saying that it will give a lot of not only thoughts for the Buddhist thinkers, but also he was saying that it's a challenge which requires a lot of scratching your head.
If there's several Big Bangs, then that go very well with Buddhists. Then last question, yes.
Okay. Some of the questions are very long. I'm trying to get a shorter one. Does there have to be suffering to balance out happiness? Is it possible to have total happiness and harmony?
그래서
대화 준다리 안 동행 내가 요구를 했을 때 대화를 동행했어. 그때는 내가 보고있다. 그래 양배 동행 때는 내가 대화 total happiness 너무 쓰그려.
서다는 아주 시대에 안다 대화도 동행해서 초야가는 삼등도 왔다디 초와 동행이다 가서 그래. 민들인디 아니 초와 될 때에 대 장식에 초와 대화해야 돼. 유해 동행이 있을 때 걸어. 자, 다들 동해 땐도 세대버디. 다 동해 땐도 세대버디는 땐도 대화를 해요.
From the Buddhist point of view, when we speak about happiness and suffering, we are not talking purely at the level of feelings or sensation. Of course, in fact, one could say that in Buddhism, the obvious experiences of pain is a identifiable form of suffering, but even what we normally classify as pleasurable sensations, such as happiness, we regard that as happiness. But from a Buddhist point of view, it is again not genuine happiness. It's a form of suffering because the seed for dissatisfaction exists in it. So the kind of happiness that Buddhism is talking about with relation to the Four Noble Truths is a total cessation of not only painful experiences and suffering, but also fluctuating emotions and so on. So it is a state beyond feeling and sensation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that's a suggestion. That's a suggestion. That the that come true model. Jenny, that you call the decision. I say, can I just sometimes pen to react or lost some and that the child of post have a junguari. So the name is a pension, ning talk about the gig in some share. So that they are the Jamju Sixer, that is number in Jamju Six sometimes, and number Mengens, and so to Jimmy sometimes dreaming.